Vang me manasi pratisthita mano me vachi pratishthitam aviravirma edhi vedasyama anistha shrutam me ma prahasihi anenadhitena horatran Samdadhami Ritam Vadishyami Satyam Vadishyami Tanmamavatu Tadvaktaramavatu Avatu Mam Avatu Vaktaram Avatu Vaktaram Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. All right, today a new hymn now. 127, we jump over several hymns. Sri Aurobindo does not translate all the hymns to Agni, so he selects some of them. So we didn't cover all hymns to Agni by Kutsangirasa. We jumped over several of Gotama Rahuganaha, none of them. There will be only one hymn from Paruchepa Daivodasi, and there will be only one hymn from next Dirghatama Uchatya. So there are many more, but Sri Aurobindo does not translate all of them. So selective translations. This is a longish hymn with a very sophisticated meter. It is called Ati Ashti. So it goes like this: 12, 12, 8, 8, 8, 12, 8. So you can see the formation. Usually all these complicated meters are consisting of two padas, of 8 syllabic pada and 12 only. You will never have part of it of Trishtub or 11 syllables or any other 10 syllables, which we have in the hymns of Parashara. But here, this complicated meter, which is very full. So let us look into it, how it is built. Agnim hotaram manyeda suantam vasum sunum sahasajata vedasam vasum sunum sahasajata vedasam. So it's a iambic 12 syllabic. Yeah? Agnim hotaram manyes dasuantam. It's 11. Agnim hotaram manyedu dasuantam vasum sunum sahaso jata vedasam vipram na jata vedasam. This is the rhythm, yeah? 12, 12, 8. So I had to deconstruct here dasuantam and maniye. When we have some prasaranas, they usually deconstruct it to widen the scope of meter. I think that was the way how rishis read. So, ya urdhvaya suadhvaro. You see, I'm also deconstructing su. Ya urdhvaya suadhvaro. Devo, deva, chiya, kripa. Garitasya vibrashtim anuvashti shochi ajuhvanasya sarpishah. So let us look into the very beginning. I put Sri Aurobindo's translation here. Agnim hotaram manye Daswantam. I meditate on fire, the priest of the coal, the giver of the treasure, the son of force, Sunum. So I call to Sunu, to the sun, Sahasach. This is a constant epithet of Agni, the son of force. Who Dasvantam, who gives Vasu, the wealth. Vasu is the wealth, shining wealth, wealth of the divine which is embodied in the physical frame. Sri Aurobindo translates Vasu many times as luminous dweller within the substance. So it's kind of a presence of the spirit within matter. So Agnim I call, Mani, or I consider, I meditate on. Sri Aurobindo translates Mani, I think of as meditate on. Interesting. Thinking and meditating. I fix my consciousness upon. It's important for us also to understand root man and manas from here as the faculty of consciousness which fixes our attention, fixes our concentration upon the chosen object. Yes? So I fixed my mind upon Agni, upon Hotar, upon the one, the priest of the cold, or the summoner of the gods. Yeah? He invokes the gods from Rudhu, Juhoti, and Havayati. Yeah? In the first class, Havayati, in the third class, Juhoti. Calls and offers. Offers means makes oblation. Calling and offering is the same root. So the one who calls and offers, the Agni I concentrate upon, the one who gives, the Svantam, Vasum, the luminous wealth, Sunum Sahasach, the son of the force. Sahas is the force also, it is that which, Sahate, the verb, is to endure, to be able to handle everything, every resistance, every flame. Jata Vedasam, the one who knows all things born. The fire who is like one illumined and knowing all things born. Vipram na Jata Vedasam. This is a very beautiful refrain. The one who is knowing all things born, like the luminous priest, or like the ecstatic priest. He translates this Vipra often as an ecstatic priest. From root to vip, to tremble in ecstasy. So the one who trembles in ecstasy, who knows all things born, or all beings born. Я urdhvaya suadvaro devo devachi ya kripa, the fire who perfect in the pilgrims, who is perfect most probably, perfect in the pilgrim sacrifice, a God with a high lifted longing. Interesting, yeah? Hungers with his flame for the blaze of the offering of light. The fire who perfect in the pilgrim sacrifice, a God with his high lifted longing. Literally is something interesting here. Devachi, it's devach. It's a specific word which is used, you can see here, devach is used only in this hymn. The one who is turned towards the gods, towards divinity, or towards the light. Deva we translate as God, but or gods, but it is from root div, to shine, towards luminous consciousness. So devas are the embodiments of this luminous consciousness, of the luminosity or the knowledge of, of the light of consciousness. So who is turned towards this light? From here also divas, day, from here also Diau, heaven. So all that is full of light, higher levels of consciousness. So he is turned towards them with his kripa. So um, krip, interesting word. Most probably I put it here. Krip, kripa, only instrumental, beautiful appearance, beauty, splendor. Yeah? It's a Vedic word. Only with kind of with his splendor turned towards divinity, the God, the luminous one who is turned towards luminosity with his beauty or with his splendor. So it's kind of a repetition of the same idea of luminosity in every word. So rishis are never hesitating to pile up these expressions of light. Yeah. It sounds very beautiful when you are in this state of being, kind of meditating in this way, with his splendor turned towards luminosity, the luminous one, who is turned upward, urdhvaya, swadvarach, who is perfect in his journey, turned towards the divinity, the divine in his luminosity. And again, Grita. Grita is translated as usually as the ghee, but ghee, Sri Aurobindo unfolds this meaning. It is from root gri to, from here gharam, you have in Hindi most probably, which means there's heat. And this is heated up butter, which becomes full of light and also temperature, the heat, the flame. So it's light which is with warmth or with temperature. So that is, as Sri Aurobindo translates um, as the illumined mentality which changed its substance and became like ghee, like garita. So the mind, which is transformed already by the spirit, is Garita. So he represents, that's why it is so desired by Agni. When we pour ghee into Agni, it flames even more. So we have to offer to him our luminous mentality, as it were. I hope I am not piling up too much. In case it is too much, you stop me and clarify things. So of that Garita Vibhrashti is sparkling, flaming, yeah, so to say, blaze, as Sri Aurobindo translates. And with his high lifted longing hungers, with his flame for the blaze of the offering of light. Can you imagine such an imagery? He hungers with his flame for the blaze of the offering of light. How much more light you can have. For its current poured on him, for its current poured on him as an oblation, shochisha. Juhvanasya sarpisha. Sarpis is the same as Garita. Sarpis is the luminous mentality or purified butter, which is offered to him, Ajuhvanasya Sarpishach, of the one whose Sarpis is offered to him as an oblation. Shochisha, with luminous Sarpis, with luminous clarified butter offered. desiring, anuvashti. Anu, interesting here, kind of desiring accordingly, desiring in the movement forward, or catching up with it, so to say, looking for it and absorbing it into itself. So you see such a rich, luminous, and heated up verse with so many words of heating, flaming, blazing, and turned towards the divine, towards the light, himself the light with his, the word is splendor. So all these words, blazing splendor towards luminosity, flaming with his purity, the flame, looking for the food, for the luminous food, seeking the divine in his flaming upward, urdhvaya. Himself, the divine, seeking the divinity. The divine is seeking itself in its own moving forward. So, if you have anything to say here, please flame also together with this verse.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, please.
Go ahead, Martha. I'll go up to you.
Please go ahead.
Thank you. Thanks. High lifted longing seems so wonderful, and it seems to be suggestive of moving to a higher consciousness.
Yes, Sri Aurobindo is very subtle in his translations, and people may even object. Usually they object, which we discussed today with HP, that the translators would ask, where is this high lifted longing? But there is no high lifted longing other than it is anu vashti, yes? He wants, and in accordance with it coming, so to say. So it longs to it because it is somewhere there, near. Yeah, so he approaches it, the proximity is already perceived by him, felt by him. So that's why he puts this word longing. Yeah? So it's a very poetic and very conscious translation, rather than just literal. Yeah? Because if literally you translate, you would lose those elements. That meaning will be lost. And you need to be, how to say, excited by it. If you are not, then translation becomes really boring. If you read others Indologist translation, you will be very disappointed. But Sri Aurobindo makes it really kind of stand out. The fire who perfect in the pilgrim sacrifice, a God with his high lifted longing hungers with his flame for the blaze of the offering of light, for its current poured onto him as an oblation.
Seems to me that just like we physical mortals, we hunger for food, and we look to the offering of food, and with excitement and with longing at the mortal level. The God, Agni, has the same longing for the light.
Yes.
That kind of a comparison, like we mortals live and are sustained on food. And so we long for it with a yearning. And we are excited with the thought of the next meal. What will we eat and how will it be presented, and stuff like that. Right. In the same way, Agni yearns for the light and for the flame to increase in him. In us also, there's the flame, which increases with the energy, with food energy, material energy.
Right. So he basically, when he is longing for the food, he is the hunger. Yeah?
Yes.
And he wants to consume the food. What does it really mean in the divine terms? It means that he is looking for the divine in every form. He wants to actually experience it. He wants to reveal it. And since the food is not yet ready for revelation of the divine, it will be consumed and turned into ashes. Yeah? The form will change into another form and go on changing until the form can endure the divine luminosity from within. So he's looking for that luminosity within every object. That's why he consumes everything.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we are drawn to the food, because we are drawn to the divine, really. To the bliss which is hidden in the food, to the fulfillment of ourselves in the full possibility. But, well, we speak about it as hunger. Yeah? We are hungry simply.
Yeah. And that's why hunger is also seen as death in our case.
Yes.
We are moving towards death is eating us just as we are eating food.
Yeah.
Because we are not the realized, we have not yet understood Agni in our lives.
Right.
So
there is a beautiful explanation by Sri Aurobindo why we are drawn to things. Because behind those things there is a divine bliss, which we are seeking. We don't want things for themselves. Yes, we are looking for the divine bliss, for the divine fulfillment. So it's a totally legitimate movement, but from the divine point of view.
yeah.
Amazing how Veda is actually undoing all our kind of preconceived notions about what is later coming as, desire, because here there is no even problem with desire. Veda will never condemn the desire because it looks at it very differently as the divine movement towards realization.
Vladimir, in Christian Science, Mary Baker Eddy stated that desire is actually prayer, because it's desire looked at from a spiritual point of view, that when we desire something, it's a longing, our soul praying for the fulfillment of something, which is just what you were saying. I've never heard anybody else say that.
Yeah, Sri Aurobindo is using, we know this, he speaks about the divine desire. So there is, he's using it in Savitri very often, desire in terms of Vedic usage. Yeah? Now, today we also discussed with HP about Krodha and Kopa and all these, and Manu. There are hymns to Manu as anger in the Veda, because anger is that power which undoes everything very fast. Yeah, it's like power of Rudra. Rudra can change things in no time. And we, of course, for us it is very dangerous because we want to maintain our status quo and whatever is established. We don't want the divine change too fast, otherwise we will turn into ashes. There is not much in us of the divine value. So, of course, we are afraid of it, and anger and desire are viewed in the post-Vedic period, when we seek mukti and liberation and seek the divine and not transformation of our being. Notice, it becomes something very obstructive and negative. But from the point of view of the divine transforming nature, These are the powers. The powers which are necessary for the divine fulfillment. And Agni is one of those powers of desire. On the lower levels, it is seen as desire, smoking, creating a lot of smoke, because the food for it is not ready to be burnt. Yes? And so it is that level of desire which later purifies itself and becomes pure aspiration. So in that sense, there is no contradiction. It's a beautiful state where everything is seen as it is, as it should be, rather, from the divine point of view. All right, let's go into the next verse. Unless you have something else to say. There's much to say here, especially on the words, how the Vedic Rishi is using these words. Yeah, a few words about this Vedic Rishi. Paruchepa Daivodasi. He is the son of Divadasa. Divadasa is the slave of the heaven, Div. Yeah? Div is the heaven. And it is his son or maybe even grandson, we do not know for sure. And Paruchepa, Chepa is always used there are many words like Shunach Shepa, it is Shepa. Yeah? And Paruchepa, Shepa is the bliss or the enjoyment. Yeah? And it is fullness of enjoyment, the slave of heaven, or slave of light, of the divine consciousness, can be translated in that way. Okay, number 2 verse. They are huge, you see, because they are. Yes.
Vladimir, what is Vashti? Just one quick thing.
Vashti is, here it is, I think I put it even. Vashti, desiring, hungers.
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay. Okay.
From
Right.
Vash, from here you have Vamsha, you have also Vash, Vashas, you most probably have some words connected with it.
Yeah, Vasana. Vasana is something.
Vasana is from Vas, yeah, maybe. Let me.
Okay.
It's to will, to want, to wish. Wish is a good word to remember. Vash.
Okay. Thank you.
Wishing or desiring or hungering, hungers with his flame.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Good there, one has to look into the words because they are key ideas. Yes? They help us to understand what Rishi wants to say. Yajishtam tva yajamana huvema Jaishtam angirasam vipraman mabhih viprebhih shukra man mabhih. The most powerful for sacrifice, Yajishtam tva. Huvema, Yajamana Huvema. We call, we invoke, we who are making the transformation, Yajamanas, we, the souls, the psychic beings, because Yajamana is the psychic being, the involved divinity. We, the psychic beings, call to you who is the most effective for transformation. Jyeshtham, yes, who is the eldest of all Angirasa rishis, Angirasam Jyeshtham. Vipra, or ecstatic priest, Manmabhih, with our thoughts, with our concentrations, we call to you, the most effective of transformation. Viprebhih Manmabhih, with our ecstatic concentrations of our mind, or shukra, or pure and luminous one. Again, excessive luminous words. Parijmanam iva dhyam. O brilliant one, Vya Shukra, with our illumined thoughts, man's priest of the cold, Hotaram Charshaninam, with our luminous thoughts, man's priest of the cold, who encircles all like heaven, Parijmanam Iva Dhyam, as heaven who Parijman, who embraces all as if Iva. The summoner of the gods, Hotaram, Charshaninam, of all those who do the work. Charshani is the word for the human race, or for the beings who came here to do the work. Shubindu translates it here, man's priest of the cold. In other places, he translates this Charshani as the one who cultivates the soil, the cultivators of the soil which has to be cultivated by the Spirit, which has to be transformed. That is them who do the work, who are really here to translate the Spirit in terms of manifestation. These are the Charshanis. We are all, actually all human beings are Charshanis here. We came here for this purpose. It is our major aim to translate spiritual experience in terms of manifestation. And that means to transform the manifestation. Shochish Kesham, whose kesha, whose hair is Shochich, a flaming. Vrishanam, the Lord, the Vrishan, the one who conceives the beings, and the male with hair of flaming light, who may these peoples cherish for his urge. Pravanto Jutaye Vishach. Now Vishach, we spoke about this word from here, Vaishya, people. Vish is from root vish, to enter, for all those who entered into manifestation. Pravanto, they increase his presence in themselves forward, for speeding up the movement forward. Jutaye, juti is speed. For speeding forward, they increase in themselves those who entered into this manifestation. Him, the Lord with flaming hair, the Lord with flaming hair. So this is basically the literal translation. So here we have these yajamanas coming, it's we who call, and it is in the first person plural, huvema. We should call him, the yajamanas, the one who does sacrifice in the best way, who transforms our being in the most effective way, the oldest of all the powers who came here for this transformation on Virasa Rishis. We spoke about them not once. The ecstatic priest with our concentrations, with our ecstatic concentrations, he adds at the end, O pure one. With our concentrations, with our ecstatic concentrations. One more phrase at the end. Viprebhich shukraman mabhi. So it's not just concentration, it is blissful, ecstatic, trembling with delight concentration. And he went into ecstasy. Couldn't handle the joy of this idea. All right, so no questions. What questions could be here? Can I ask something? Like ecstatic concentrations, you cannot ask much. But Angiras, interesting, because these are the powers, 7 tongues of Brihaspati, Angiras Rishis. It is his children. Actually, Angiras, he is the major Angiras, the flame, Agni, and Brihaspati. And Brihaspati is the one who manifests the powers of the Rishis. And the Rishis, Angirasa Rishis, are these flames, 7 tongues of Brihaspati. They are Brahmanic powers who kind of connect the intention of the Rishi to the power. So the power is Agni, but he has to have that link or connection by the intention. And he is also that Brihaspati, he is Agni. We will come to the first hymn of the second mandala, and there we will read who Agni is. Agni is all the devatas in action. So as Brihaspati, he manifests these 7 flames, which connect the power of the divine inherent in the intrinsic in our manifestation to all the levels of consciousness, reveals all of them. And that intention, mantra, is actually directing the force, the divine force, in the direction of its manifestation. So without hymns, we cannot do it. Without this self-expression from the heart, we will not be able to realize the divine. So this idea which we have in some religions, such as Buddhism or other later religions of Hinduism, that you may arrive at the divine by doing nothing, that you may stop doing everything and then the divine will reveal its own nature, is not the Vedic idea. It seems that this idea that you may arrive at the divine by doing nothing is not totally true. You can't arrive at the divine without trying to reach the divine by expressing something of the divine in you. So in other words, you cannot arrive at the aim by the means which are not from that aim. You have to have the divine to arrive at the divine. You have to express something of the divine to be able to reach it, or to even think of it. Without these hymns, we will not be able even to think about it. It will take infinite time to really reach or arrive at this luminosity. It needs some direction, and these are the rishis, the Angirasa rishis. They are the powers which are expressing that need in our innermost being to reach to the highest. Yes, Kinshuk.
So, Vladimir, I'm just trying to grasp this. These 7 Angirasha rishis are conveying their intentions through Agni to all creatures, and the creatures likewise will have in themselves similar intentions. And that is how we travel, is it?
Absolutely. That's why we need the Veda. At the beginning of each Manvantara, the rishis come as involutionary beings and
Okay.
project to humanity its intention, group intention. We made that intention in a pure state, unembodied state. And they bring and remind us why we are here, what we are here for. We are here for this. They constantly remind us, kind of direct us, orient us in the right direction of our intention as a group soul. Yes.
And our correct expression of that intention is what will get us closer.
Yes. We made that plan. We made that vision for our embodiment here. But when we came down, we forgot about this. So we have to be reminded constantly. Some power has to remind us. And it is subtle power. They are there in the subtle world to help us, to assist us, as Sri Aurobindo says. They're constantly there to assist us in our journey. But we have to express it in some form. Yeah? And that is the Veda. Why the Veda was so important for Indian tradition, that they spent so many generations, hundreds of generations, just to preserve the text.
The sounds rather, not so much the text.
Well, the text was the carrier. Yeah? The text was the carrier, and that's why they did all the Gurukulas. They preserved the text purely, without even interpreting, without even trying to understand it. Just please preserve the text, because this is the group intention. We have to remember it. It has to be kept alive in one form or another. Somebody will come and understand it, like Sri Aurobindo, and give us some hints and keys, and others will give some other hints and keys. But doesn't matter. Matters that the text is here, the vision, the intention is still understood by us, that we are here to transform nature. And this is all about the Rig Veda.
On a separate note, Vladimir, there's a personal curiosity. Is that work now over because now this text has been transmitted to all the world and everybody can avail of it?
Well, how it can be over, we have to live it.
Okay.
We just come to even scratch the surface first time. Even Sri Aurobindo says that he scratched the surface only. He took the easiest part to interpret. It's a knowledge in itself. It has a depth, and it has to be realized. It's a path. It's advaram, suadvaram, perfect path, pilgrimage, sacrifice. It leads us forward and forward. It will always be needed somewhere to invoke those Angirasa rishis to come and to assist us, because we can't do it ourselves. We need the divine help. We need the divine interventions. You will
But
notice.
what I'm saying is all those techniques for remembering, which kind of changed the meter a little bit or extended certain vowels and did those things, that is not now necessary. That's actually my question.
Yes, I think so. Yes, in that sense, yes. We have the
Okay.
text recorded, digitized, so we can have it. But to live it is another thing. Maybe in that sense, Gurukulas are still needed to sound it, to make it alive through articulation in the living being. It does something in spite
Okay.
of.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that I don't want to belittle the tradition which preserved for us the intention of the group, so saying that it is not needed or something. Yeah. Everything which is going on is still needed, I guess. That would be the thought. Yes, such a beautiful kind of symphonies of the divine celebration of remembering the divine, what we are here for, who are these Angirasas, and he is one of the oldest. He's the oldest Angiras. He's the oldest one, who first avatar, who descended into the darkness, the immortal among mortals, who started this journey back to this divine awareness. And all other powers of him as Angirasa Rishis were revealed in time. All right. Oh, we are close to the end of our time. Maybe we will take next time second verse. These are quite big verses. They consist of several verses, so it would be okay to stop here. If you have any other thoughts, please share. Some ideas may be coming to you by looking into these verses.
Beings of light who can express themselves only in light. That's the sense that I get.
Yeah.
There are so many words referring to light itself.
Right. Shukra, Shochi, Angiras, also light, Deva. Only in this verse, but in the previous also. I made the whole list of epithets to Agni. I want to send you the list, and you will see from 28 hymns, it was like, I don't know how many epithets was, like 260 epithets from 28 hymns. Different epithets of Agni. Who is Agni? Right. And they're so powerful, so beautiful. Maybe I will even open this as good to look into. If I have it around somewhere.
Vladimir, there was something that occurred to me when you were reading this first verse, which is that, and this goes back to kindling Agni as well, that there are certain pine cones, and there are a lot of seeds, but I was thinking of these particular pine cones, that it's only when a fire comes through and burns them that they open up and the seeds are released so that they can then sprout new trees. I was thinking about that process in ourselves, that it's when we go through, say, challenging situations, that's how we expand, we grow, we can, I was thinking of expansion, that we expand as beings. And the other thing that I thought that's ringing in my head is the ecstasy of concentration. That seems very real to me,
This is a
because
very
when we're
good
in,
kind of image what you said, that the pine is opening, pine cone is opening, and the seeds are released. The innermost quintessential truth of the being is being cracked, to crack the shell and to release the core. And that is the movement of Agni, yes, to do that, to break that shell, that hard shell which is not the divine yet, yeah? When hiding the divine within. And if there is nothing within, then everything turns into ashes, yes. But if there is something, then it will show itself. Yeah? Very good association, yes. Unexpected revelation. So I'm opening for you this. Let me open the projection before we stop. These I made this book, and it's somewhere published even. And at the end, I put these. Oh, here it is. How many pages of? Just from 28 hymns. I made even according to the alphabet, epithets to Agni from 5:1 to 28. 28 hymns. Incredible. And I put Sri Aurobindo's translations. So from the dictionary and Sri Aurobindo's, unsurpassed. He is the eternal unconquerable who tramples all things under his feet. Adabdha, literally the one who cannot be trampled upon, who cannot be stepped upon, suppressed, but who himself tramples all the things under his feet. And so on. You will look at these infinite numbers of epithets. They are so beautiful. Atithih Shivono, or Atithih Manushinam, a guest, merciful to all of human peoples. Atithih Durone, guest in our house. He is always guest. He is blissful, beneficent guest, ours, Shivonoch, Atithich Manushinam. He is the guest of all the creatures who have the mind, who have the capacity to focus their consciousness upon any object of sense. And he is the guest Atithich Durone in front of our gated home. Durona is a gated guest in the house. If you reconstruct the words, if you look into deeper meaning of the words, you will see the vision. Why he is the guest of these three. It's only from these hints. And so on, and so on. Some are very unexpected and very beautiful.
Can you explain Ajami, please? Sorry.
Ajami.
Sorry to go back. Ajami, why is it a companion? Why he says, being without a fellow, yet dwells with the two companions?
Yes, Jami is the one who is kind of together with someone, yes, unrelated, single, Ajami. He is also Ikaja. He has several epithets that he is the one or one-footed divinity, yes. It's quite interesting that from the physics point of view, I don't know, some of you have this physics background. If you can imagine the magnet, which has only one pole. Can you imagine one pole magnet? It's unthinkable, yes? It has to be the second pole, otherwise. So it is of that kind, yeah? Which takes anything in the world as a second pole. So this is Ajami, I think. This what I thought about this before. It is the power which makes everything else a second pole and can interact with it, can attract it, can deal with it as a force.
Thank you.
He is that which, being without a fellow, yet dwells with the two companions. This is Sri Aurobindo's. Yeah? All these with italics are Sri Aurobindo's texts.
Where is this book available?
Yeah, I can send you. It's available.
Please.
Yes. You can look
Lovely.
into those
Thank you
epithets.
so much.
Yes.
Yes, please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I will close with mantra.
Vladimir, also the previous one we need 1.97.
Right, I will send you. Yes, correct.
Thank you.
Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Santo Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om.
Hari Om.